Hello and welcome back to the top 85 games for the BBC Micro Video Countdown series. In at number 15, it's Snapper. Now, this game is truly one of my all-time personal favourites, and it's one of the reasons why I've waited until now to bring it in. Snapper was released in 1982 by Acornsoft, and it was developed by Jonathan Griffiths. And the very first version of it that came out bore an uncanny resemblance to perhaps one of the most iconic arcade games of all time, the 1980 game Pacman, which was released by Namco and developed by Toru Iwatani. Now, that first version of Snapper had to be quickly withdrawn and replaced by a later version, which still came out in 1982, albeit a few months later, in which the graphics and the sound had been suitably altered to make the game look like a distinctive game in its own right and not a direct clone of Pac-Man to satisfy the executives at Namco. And it is in fact that version of Snapper with which I am the most familiar, and it's the version I love the most, because it is the first game I ever played. The first video game. I played it on an Acorn Electron, which was a present from my parents, I think partly driven from my dad wanting to get me off his BBC Micro. It came on cassette with the Acorn Electron, and I must have played that game for more hours than I can possibly recall now. And it is a real treasured game for me on that basis, and because it is an outstandingly good game. Obviously, Pacman itself, I don't really need to say any more about Pacman than has already been said by countless others in the past, but the gameplay of Pacman is obviously directly transferable to Snapper. They play very much in the same way, albeit that I personally think that the graphics of Snapper are slightly better. I'm slightly biased, of course. But what we're going to do in this review is we're going to look at the very original version, so the one that basically looks like Pacman, and then we're going to take a look at the altered version, which is the one that I am the most familiar with and indeed the one that I love the most. We'll also spend a little bit of time looking at a hacked version, which is the original but greatly speeded up. That hacked version some of you may know from the BBC Micro Complete Games Archive. It's worth taking a look at just because it's so much fun and it really does showcase how fast a game can get on the BBC Micro. But I'm terrible at that version, so we'll save that one to the end for a few laughs before we round out the review. So this introduction has taken a little bit longer than usual, but I wanted to explain exactly why it is that Snapper has come in at number 15. As I say, it is a game that I absolutely love, and I've got very deep personal reasons for that. And we're going to take a look at the very original version now. Alright, so let's start with the very first version of Snapper. This is the version that you would have managed to snap up if you'd bought the game on its very first release. Typical Acornsoft splash screen there, and very straightforward controls, because of course this is a Pac-Man style game. So we can really just move left, right, down and up. So let's press space and get into it. And as you can tell from that excellent intro tune, this is Pac-Man by any other name, complete with the same intro jingle and the ghosts, and of course the eponymous Pac-Man himself. Right, I haven't managed to nab any ghosts there, so let's just keep going around the grid. So yes, if you had bought Snapper back in the day, oh dear. This is the version that you would have got, but it would have very quickly have become a rare version because as I said in the introduction, the people of Namco were not too happy, and they wanted to make a stand. It's interesting, really, how these things worked back in the day. I mean, there were plenty of games that were very obviously clones of others, but I suppose it's a testament in a way to just how close to Pac-Man Jonathan Griffiths managed to make the game, that his version was just too much the same, and they decided that on balance it needed to have different graphics to suitably stand out. Right, oh, hang on, just keep the old ghosts there. There we are. It's completed that level. Didn't see any cherries on that level though. But as I say, this is not the version that I saw until quite a few years later. I did have a copy of this version of Snapper on my BBC Micro, but by that point I'd become so familiar with the graphics of the Snapper that I knew, that in a strange sort of way, this did feel like it was a different game. It was almost like oh well, that's Pacman, that's not Snapper. But officially, there never was a Pacman for the BBC Micro, or indeed the Acorn Electron. Still not seeing any signs of fruit down at the bottom there. We haven't seen any strawberries on this level. Oh, come on, you. There we go. The power pills are still giving a decent amount of... let's go this way. Are still giving a decent amount of play here. Oh, goodness gracious. I do like the sound effect when he dies, actually. It's very comical. Right. Let's just have these dots here. And grab these ones over here. I shouldn't really call them power pills, as I understand that the original designer of Pacman, at least, he doesn't like them being referred to as power pills. Power-ups is acceptable, but not. I think the sort of suggestion that Pacman is taking some kind of narcotic doesn't sit very well with the game's creator. Pacman is obviously meant to be a family-friendly character. Let's grab these ones. But it is, as I say, it's fair to say that Pacman as a character is I think I read somewhere that in the late 2000s, I think they did a survey of most recognised character from a video game. I think Pacman scored something like a 94% recognisable score, which is really quite impressive. For a game that obviously is as old as it is. I think he scores higher than even characters... Oh dear. Characters like Mario. Right, well, that's the original version. But I think what we're going to do next is actually switch to what I consider to be the more iconic version of Snapper, because, as I say, it's the version I grew up with, and also it's the one that probably has been around for longer, because that version of Snapper that we've just seen had a very short shelf life. But we shall come back to these style of graphics when we look at the speeded up mod at the end of the review. But for now, we're going to say goodbye to this version of Snapper and take a look at the version that I know best. Okay, so here we are. So this is the Snapper that I know best, as I say. Got some instructions there. Same Acornsoft splash screen as before. And the same controls. So up to this point, basically does look like the same game, but you will notice, first of all, that jingle is different and the graphics are different. Now, I personally think that the character of Snapper, as he is here, is brilliant. He's got a proper sort of character about him. He's got a jaunty little hat on. He's got feet, which of course Pacman doesn't have, and of course the ghosts as well have been transformed into what we'd call them, whether they're zombies perhaps instead of ghosts. But yes, it's a different looking game, although the mechanics of the game are certainly the same. Got some fruit this time. It plays the same, but it just looks different in a way that I personally really, really like. I'm sure there are certain Pacman purists out there who would say, no, this is just messing around with an established formula. But as I say, I personally think that Snapper, as a character, he's just got more... he's got a bit more going about him, I think. Ooh, there we go. Managed to get out. And got some cherries along the way. His little mouth and his sort of crazy red eyes as well. They all contribute to making him a definitive character in his own right, I think. But still with the excellent gameplay of Pacman, which is of course a game for the centuries. Really, it's just so playable. I read some background to when Pacman was first sort of demoed to a Western audience, and there was fear that the game would be too samey and a bit too sort of repetitive. But I don't know, for me personally, it doesn't get samey or repetitive at all. I can play this for hours and hours and hours, and just keep finding it enjoyable, something that I want to keep playing. Right, we're nearly here. Just grab. Of course, there's an art to the power-ups. I think you're supposed to try and get the ghosts, or in this case the zombies, to follow you in a line before you nab a power-up, and then turn round on them before they have a chance to run away. But at the moment, I'm just trying to see how far I can get into the game. Obviously, the fruit, we've switched to the apple level now. Let's grab another one of these. Let's go over here. Now, if you do actually manage to send all of them back to their home in the middle, before the power-up time has finished, it turns off prematurely. But that's quite difficult to do unless you've managed to line them all up behind you in advance. Let's grab these dots while I'm in a safe frame. Oh dear. Let's send them off over there, and I've still got one dot down there. Ah! No! Oh no, 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 no! Uh-oh. Oh dear. Still the same sound effect when he dies, as we had in the original there. They haven't... Jonathan obviously didn't change that particular sound effect. There we go. Should have really cleared that without losing a life, but there we are. Now, interestingly, we go back onto apple again, so it's no difference on the fruit front. We'll just go for a second apple in a row. Of course, over in the US at this time, when Snapper would have been a thing, Apple had its own following. Ooh, I've managed to get myself an extra life there with my points. Excellent stuff. Oh my lord. Oh. Now, interestingly, they don't always follow. It's not like once they start following you, they keep following you necessarily. If you manage to... Well, the power-ups really aren't lasting very long, are they? I want to try and get past this level at least, because let's try and get as far in as we can. Ooh. There we go. Grab that one and chase this one down, and then hopefully get the other one as we come past. Right, now I'm out of power-ups now, so... Ooh, hang on. Let's go this way. There we go. It's evaded him. Oh no, he's coming around this way. Oh. Okay, let's see. Grab those ones. Oh my word. We got 3 dots left. Come on. Oh, there we go. Whew, that was tight. Okay, now we're on to tomato. Is that a tomato? I'm not quite sure. Don't know what that is. They seem to be getting faster as well, don't they? Right, grab the old power up there. Hey. Ooh, it's really not lasting very long at all now. Uh-oh, oh no. Oh. Got cornered there. Let's come round here. Oh, goodness. Right, let's get out of there before I get ambushed. There we go. Alright, send you. Ooh, another tomato. I think it's... I mean... I don't know, do you think it's a tomato? Am I wrong? Is it... Can't be another kind of apple, surely. That'd be a bit dull. We've already had apple. But I can't think what else would be a bright red fruit like that. Oh no! Oh dear. Well, not too shabby. Let's put in a decent run there. But we're gonna stay with this version of Snapper for now. One other hacked version, by the way, that I didn't mention in the introduction is another one again that you can find on the complete BBC Micro Games Archive, where if you've got more than one person sitting at the machine, you can actually have them control the ghosts, which is quite novel. It's not a very easy one to demonstrate, unfortunately, because when you've only got one person at the keyboard, you can't really control Snapper and, well, even one other ghost at the same time is pretty challenging. So I'm not going to propose that we look at that one in the review, but do check it out if you've got somebody else that you want to play along with and they want to take the part of a ghost, you can play that. As I say, there is a hacked version that lets you do that. And in fact, I think you can play with up to 4 ghosts on that version as well. But we won't, as I say, we won't delve into that for this particular review. Don't take these dots down the bottom. There we go. Oh, hang on. Oh no. Oh dear. That red one's coming after. Oh, no! Oh! Oh dear, lost a life on this level. That's not. It's not a good start, is it? Okay. Well, let's try and. No, don't do that. There we go. It is challenging to fully concentrate on the game whilst also providing the commentary at the same time. But I feel that the reviews, certainly for a game like this one, if you want to give a degree of realism about what it's like to play the game, you do need to sort of narrate as you're going along, because, yeah, it's a sort of simple in theory, but very, very much a sort of adrenaline game in practice when you play it, particularly in the later levels. More strawberry going on at the bottom there. Oh dear. Seems to be a bit more generous on the fruit front here. Oh goodness, look at them coming after me there. Oh no, don't do that. Oh, I shouldn't have gone up. I was fine where I was. Oh dear. Well, maybe that first run is going to turn out to be the best of the ones that we manage in this review, but nevertheless, gives you a good flavour of what Snapper is like to play. Now, one thing I don't know, and would be keen to hear from anybody who knows better than I, is whether or not Snapper holds true to Pacman insofar as if you get through a certain number of levels, whether it goes into the infamous dark Pacman where the lines of the grid are taken away. So they're still there, but you have to know where they are by sense, because you can't actually see them anymore. I have heard that is something that happens in Pacman, depending on how far into the game you get. Come on, there we go. But yes, I don't know if Snapper does that or not. It's something I would be interested to know, as I say. If anyone has any information on that, please let me know. Oh dear, I shouldn't have really taken that one quite so quickly, but I'm trying to speed run through this. You say speed run, I mean the entire game of Snapper is really one long speed run, isn't it? It's there's an apple down there, but I'm not sure I've got time to get it. Oh no! Oh dear. Well, we didn't do very well on that one by comparison to the first run, but let's start things off again. See if we can maybe do a little bit better. I dare say there are some people watching this thinking I have got terrible tactics whilst playing this game. As I say, I know there are ways to play it that maximise score, and there's probably a critical path through the maze that you can do to ensure that you clear the levels as quickly as possible, but I have never claimed to be an expert. Even for games like this one that I, am very familiar with and have played for many years, many hours over many years, I'm not going to hold myself out as a Snapper expert. Merely a super fan. That's probably what I would say. Come on, you. There we go. Oh, let's get these one and this one, and can I get the last one? Go on. Here we go. So I only just got it before the power up ran out, but you notice that it did cut off at that point. So as soon as I sent the last one home, that was it for the power up sound. All right, here we go. Managed to clear that level. So on to the next. I have experimented with different paths through the maze, so I wouldn't go as far as saying I haven't tried to find out what the most optimal way is, but I wouldn't say I found it. A lot of the time I tend to play on the basis of nerves more than anything else. Just probably apparent in the freneticism in my voice. But, you know, that's how I find the game to be at its most enjoyable, really. You know, if you play it too rigorously for maximum points, you can sometimes lose some of the appeal of what makes the game enjoyable in the first place. So, no offence to you high score experts out there, of course, but for me, it's about enjoying the game, and that doesn't necessarily translate into top scores. Always nice to have, of course, but for me, I just like kicking back and playing some Snapper because it's just a great game. And I know I've said it already in this review, but Jonathan Griffiths, who I don't believe he can't have had any access to the source code for Pacman, given how Namco reacted to his game when it first came out. To have put this together without really knowing how it had been done in the first place, really, was interesting. Managed to send one of them home just as the power-up ran out. So I think I said when we reviewed Killer Gorilla, you know, there were these arcade games back in the day that people would have played in the arcades in a cabinet setting and then gone home and thought, you know what, I'd like to play that on the BBC Micro or the Spectrum or the Commodore, so I'm going to just going to do it. I'm just going to figure out how you would go about doing it on those machines. No access to the source code. As I say, Peter Scott was famous for that, for the superior software. Oh my goodness, the superior software ports that he did. He didn't have access to the source code half the time. In fact, most of the time. He just had to do it on the basis of how the game looked and how it played. My oh my. All right, well, we'll give one more go through. And then we'll take a look at the super speedy version. But as I say, that won't last very long. As you can see already, I've not getting past the tomato level, so I don't think we'll be spending too long on the speeded up version. The main thing for me is really just to give the game a decent run through and hopefully share with you my real love for this game. As I say, for a first game ever, I think it's really quite a special thing to be able to share with others. There you go, look, I managed to get them all before the power-up ran out, and that cut it off. Nope. There's something kind of elegant as well in the sort of simplicity of the game itself. It's, you know, it's not complex in terms of what you have to do. I mean, in fact, it's got some of the fewest controls that of any game, really. I mean, you literally can only move left, right, up, down. There's no fire. There's no items that give you special power-ups other than the power pills. But somehow it manages to compress all of that sort of simplicity and turn it into something that is just playable. So playable. Oh, hang on. I've taken double power up there. That wasn't so sensible. Now the collection of dots mechanic, I think we noted in a much earlier review of Dodgems that it's not. I don't think Pacman came up with that in the first instance, but it's a clever mechanic as a way of, you know, completing a level. Could do with an extra life, which might be helped by collecting a fruit bonus. Oh no! Got a bit dicey there. Oh, I don't have any more power-ups to use, so this is going to get increasingly tricky. Oh, it's a shame I don't, because I've got them all in a row now. Oh, look at them going round. Oh, I don't know if I've got to really be careful on the keys now. Woo, there we go. When they really get that close to you, it only takes you to just slightly miss a turn, and that's it. You're I'm going to say toast. I don't know if that's really an appropriate metaphor with Snapper. I feel like it ought to be something more fruity. Right, here we go. Let's try and at least clear out the bottom so I don't have to come back down. Oh, well, that's not working, is it? Oh dear. Well, that wasn't a great strategy. Let's try going up here. Surely I'm due an extra life roundabout now. There we go. I thought as much. Burning through these power-ups is probably not a wise strategy, but... Alright, come on. Let's go that way. No, don't go that way. Oh, no, 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 no. Alright, I'm going over here. It's too many of them. Oh, no. Oh, hang on. Might be alright, might be alright, might be alright. Go through here. There we go. Oh, no, they're going up round that way. Ah, no. I just want to get those dots over in the corner. Oh no, oh no. Oh, okay, we're alright, we're alright, we're alright. Just go, 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 go. Oh, there we go. Onto the double apple. So, still got one life remaining. But, I don't know if it's going to be enough to get to the tomato level. Because we haven't managed to get any further than the tomato level in this review. Power-ups are not as beneficial as they have been. Oh dear. It'd be good if I could get them to all just sort of come over here. Do you think they'll do that? They kind of just sort of amble around, don't they? They're not really very... Yeah. No! I didn't quite get the last one there. Oop. Oh! Alright. Really on my tail, that one. Alright. I'm going to avoid the temptation of that apple down there because I don't think that it's worth pursuing. Because really all I want to do is get those last dots over there if I can. Yes! There we go. Alright, now we're on to the tomato level and not sure what the future holds at this stage. As this is as far as we got in the last review. Oh, the last playthrough, or at least my most successful playthrough of this one. Alright, there we are. Power-ups really are... Oh, that was silly. That was very silly. Oh dear, can't waste lives like that at this stage. Alright. Let's go for broke down here and clear out as much of this as we can. Ooh, they really... Look at them zooming along. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on. Oh. Right, let's get rid of you. Go over here. Oh, don't chase them. There is a temptation, isn't there? When you get the power pill, you think, I'm going to get rid of all of them, but you can't. Not at this stage. Oh, no. Oh, I've only got a few dots left. No! Oh, only 3 dots remaining, and I didn't quite make it. Okay, well, surprisingly similar score to first time round. But anyway, we're going to stop there and take one last look at the speeded up version just for fun before rounding out this review of The Amazing Snapper. All right. Okay, so this is the hacked version of Snapper. Same controls. And we're back to Pacman style. But it is ludicrously fast. Look at it. Even the sound effects have been speeded up. Oh, and also... oh dear, straight into a ghost. Well, we lost it there, but there was an acorn down at the bottom as well, which is an... Oh, there you go, look. It's a nice little homage to Acorn. Wow, wow, wow. Look at him go. Oh dear. Oh. He's chasing me round and round and round. Yeah, I'm not going to last very long on this. I'm just going to tell you now. But I couldn't finish a review of Snapper without showing you this one because it is good fun. I'm not 100% sure of the origin of this, whether it's a hack by Jonathan himself or somebody. I got distracted by the acorn. I thought, I'll just get that. No, there's a ghost in the way. Oh my word. Oh, this is ridiculous. Okay. Well, I'll go on. I'll do it one more time. And then I think we'll probably call it a day. It's just too ridiculous, this game. Look at it. Look at it. He's so speedy. I'm fairly sure this is faster than the actual arcade game. Ridiculous. Oh, come on, let's get these. Let's go for the ghosts. Come on. Come here, go on. All but one of them. Oh, no, don't go that way. Alright. Oh man, it's... Whoa! They are faster than me, I think. You can't really do what you can do in traditional Snapper, where you can just have them hound you around the grid. Basically, if they tag onto you, oh, it was just as I got to the end of the power up. Do you think I can actually get past this level? Who am I kidding? Oh, not a hope. Well, yes, that's probably best if we don't continue with that any further. But if you are somebody that has found the original challenge of Snapper to be far too pedestrian, why not give that one a try? Because, it's very hard. So I'm going to call it a day there for this review for number 15 in the Countdown series, which has been The Amazing Snapper. As I say, a game very close to my heart and one which I hope you will also take great pleasure in. I'm sure you've played it before, and if you haven't, it's almost certain that you'll have played Pacman. And if so, you should try Snapper, particularly the version with the revised graphics, because, as I say, that for me is the definitive version, and always will be. So I hope you've enjoyed that review, and I hope that you'll join me for the next video in the series. But until then, goodbye.